The municipality of North Cypress-Langford is located to the south of Neepawa, bordering the town on three sides and stretching south past Carberry as far as Shiloh to the west and Edrins to the east. Total population for the area is 2,860, with a land area of 1,762 square kilometers within 6 wards. Dominating this month's meeting of the North Cypress-Langford Council is a delegation from the Westman ATV Association. There is now a couple years' history between the association and the RM, sometimes contentious and sometimes cordial, around the development of ATV trails on Crown land in the area in 2022, which was not supported by many local residents but was approved by the Crown Lands branch, which has authority over the land. In this particular case, a new trail for an upcoming derby runs across a municipal right-of-way, which brought forward concerns about liability for council. The delegation was able to address that concern, assuring them that they would be covered under the association's insurance, and as well updated council on how having the designated trails and not just riding the ATVs off-road gives them access to sustainable funding from the provincial government, which helps them conduct maintenance and add signage to the trail areas. The ATV Association and Council were able to come to an agreement on the use of the right-of-way in time for the association to apply for and receive a permit for the derby at the end of the month. Also covered at this month's meeting were ER coverage for the Carberry Health Centre, an increased number of water hookups for the RM, and rec district contributions from neighbouring municipalities. Following is the September meeting of the North Cypress-Langford Council in its entirety.
Resolution 246, 2024. Be it resolved that the meeting be convened at 9 a.m. with Ray Drayson in the chair. Can I have a mover, please?
Grant.
Grant, seconder. Darren. All in favor?
Yep.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Resolution 247, 2024. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting on September 9th, 2024 be adopted as circulated. Can I have a mover, please? Jaron, seconder. Robbie? Anybody got anything to add? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of minutes. Resolution 248, 2024 be it resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of August 12th, 2024 and the joint meeting minutes of August 26, 2024 be adopted as circulated. Can I have a mover, please?
Grant.
Grant, seconder.
Thank you.
Dallas. Anybody have any questions of the minutes? Received them? No comments. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. ATV club's not here.
He is. He's right.
Is he out front?
He's right. I don't know where he went. He was waiting on another guy.
Oh, okay.
There's two of them, but
Yeah.
they're here whenever you want them.
Both here or just one here?
Well, he was just right there, so I'm not sure he went out to get his buddy or what.
Okay, we'll do the finance and accounts here and we'll come back here. Resolution 249, 2024 be it resolved that the financial statement for September 2024 be referred to council. Have a mover, please. Jaron, seconder. Dallas. Any questions on the financial statement for that one? Anything to add to it there, Teresa? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
There's two of them there now.
Go grab them.
Thanks.
Please, thank you.
Go ahead, fellas.
Morning, Chad.
Morning.
Hey, Ty, how are
Hey,
you?
good yourself?
Good, thanks.
You have the hot seats today?
Yep, there's a hot seat.
It's been a while since we've been in here. It's good to see you guys.
Tried to phone you a few minutes ago, but I didn't catch it.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Well, welcome to our council here, guys.
Thank
Start
you.
with, we'll just go around the table for introductions here. We'll start with Robbie down there.
Rob Van Comer, I'm Ward 1 out in that area.
Okay,
Sharon Davidson from South of Newport.
okay,
Allison Stead, I am Ward 4 across the highway, yeah.
okay.
Ray Drayson and Reeve.
Yeah.
Grand Jardine, Ward 3, north of Transcon.
North Transcon,
To the
okay.
west, yeah.
Okay.
Just north of
Teresa?
Rob.
Okay.
And the one you've been talking to.
Okay, Teresa, okay.
Teresa.
Always nice to put faces to names.
Okay, go ahead, you guys.
Okay, yeah, as you guys may or may not know, I'm sure you know, we have a designated trail system in the Camp Hughes area, just a loop. There's, I think it's 28 kilometers of trail. So there's like a main loop, and then there's kind of like a little connector trail that goes between, kind of like two loops into it. So our club's been trying to maintain that. We got that permit, general permit in 2022, I believe. And we've been working on it ever since, and just recently we got sustainable funding through Manitoba government, which really puts a lot more tools in our hands as far as what we can do in there. It takes pressure off us having to raise our own funds and stuff to do maintenance. So it allows us to spend that time actually doing stuff on the trails rather than trying to figure out how we're going to get the money to actually do things out there. And the good thing with that too is now if you guys want us to do something, say level something or put extra signage up or something, now we actually have the backing of the government to actually do some of that stuff, right? So, and in a more timely manner. We could do it before, but it just takes longer to raise money and stuff like that. But now we don't have as much of an issue with that. So the way that works, if you read the letter here, there's kind of like two pots that we can dip our hands into for that. There's a general maintenance, what they call general maintenance. So it's $1 amount per kilometer of designated trail. The trail has to be designated for us to get the funding. That's kind of the catch. So that goes towards signage, operation cost of the tractor, machinery, whatever you're using, and that sort of thing. So the brush mowing, we have a tractor with a brush mower now. We have a groomer. It's kind of like a snowmobile trail groomer. It's just got some grater blades and it's got like a finishing blade in the back. So it just kind of takes the tops off the moguls, kind of fills it in. Does a really nice job. Yeah, so things like that. And then there's another fund that we can dip our hands into, which is like a capital projects fund. So if there's like a major thing that needs to be done, like we don't really have any big waterways in there or anything, but there are some low spots. So say if we wanted to bring in a whole bunch of gravel or build a little bridge of some kind or something, we can apply for a capital projects through that fund, and then use that money to do that work. That way it's not pulling out of our per kilometer of maintenance. So that's been a really big development for us. And then, the next thing I'd like to talk about, I guess, is, the guys have been working in there constantly, putting signs up, ordering signs. The trails are looking really good now. I don't know if any of you have been over that way recently, but the trails look amazing. Like they clearing the trees off and cutting the long grass that was in there. It was really high there for a while, so it was really, these guys were worried about fires getting started in there. This grass was like, over the tops of the quads, so they went in there with a brush mower and knocked it down where they could. Like, we have to stay on our designated trail. We can't do maintenance off the trail. So that's another kind of a catch. Like, we'd like to maintain all the trails that are in there, but we've only been approved for those two loops, like I said. So we can mitigate. We can do mitigation measures on the trails that we have, but it's really hard for us to do stuff outside of it without support from the government and from the RM. So we do what we can where we can. And then I guess the main thing that we want to talk about today, and I'll talk about the liability stuff, and then I'll get Tyrus to talk about some of the signage and stuff that we're posting.
Yep, go ahead.
And then we can take some questions and stuff I'm sure you guys have lots. So the liability part, I know when we applied for our derby, Crown Lands had asked for a conditional use letter from you guys. And I was reading your last council meeting minutes, and it was denied because of liability concerns. So on the letter here, I wrote just on the end here, just so I kind of wanted it to stick out a little bit more. If you're reading through the letter, kind of have that linger in your minds a little bit. Was that the way our insurance works? So on our designated trails that we have there, the 2 loops, Oasis Insurance supplies ATV Manitoba with a $5 million liability insurance policy. So if we have an event, well, first of all, if someone is riding on that trail and they get into an accident and say they're not a member of our club, so therefore they're not a member of ATV Manitoba, they're just some person from wherever riding, and they hit a tree or something, and then they say, oh, well, this is on RM land, say, I'm gonna sue the RM because they didn't they didn't cut the grass here or something, I couldn't see this tree, and so you guys would be covered. So we can list you guys under our insurance policy. So same thing if we were to use the road allowance for our derby, if something were to happen on the road allowance, above what that individual's MPI insurance should cover, if they wanted to come after us or after the RM, because it's an event put on by us, our insurance also covers events put on by our club. So as long as we have a legal footprint to the trail that we are running the people on, our insurance will cover us. So we have, right now we have the province of Manitoba listed as an insuree under a policy, because there's forestry in there, there's historical resources,
Crown lands probably.
Crown Lands, yeah, Manitoba Hydro's in there, there's a mixed bag of people in there, or groups in there. So they're listed, CFB, or D&D is listed too, so that they're covered, because there's a small section of trail that, between our 2 gates there that we go through. So they're listed on there too. So that just provides them with a little ease of mind that, okay, if something were to happen, there is some coverage there. So another thing I was talking to the planning department of our office, that they're on the other side of us where I work, they suggested they're going to talk to Crown Lands and see if maybe, because I know the conditional use letter, maybe that might raise some concerns about if you allow us to use this section of road allowance. I know before it was brought up that if you say you can use a section of road allowance, are people going to think that, oh, now we can go wherever we want, right? But the temporary, they said maybe you could word it in the conditional use letter to say just that section for that day or whatever. But we could also ask for maybe a temporary use permit, or letter of permit, whatever it's called, temporary use, just for that day, just for that section, for our derby.
So I think there was only, what, a half mile or something like that?
Yeah, it's only the Camp Hughes, what we're asking for right now for the derby is just the Camp Hughes Cemetery Road, so from, where the,
51.
yeah, 351 south to just past the railroad tracks there. We'd like to run the trail on either side of the ditch, so we have a mower, and we have a groomer, a leveler, so we can make that really nice there, so people actually ride that. Instead of just saying, okay, you gotta go down the ditch, but if the ditch is really rough, they're just gonna go down the road, right? But if we actually have it signed and mowed, they're gonna go on. So we figured for traffic coming north from Camp Hughes, they'd stay on the east ditch, and then for the traffic coming back and around from the north south, they would go on the west ditch. So just like flow of traffic, right? Which is what kind of follows the ORV highway traffic there. So we'd keep them in the ditches there. And I mean, eventually it'd be nice to have that trail designated so that we can go from the south and get to the north side, or go from the south, get the 351 and come into Carberry so that people could get gas and food and stuff, right? But right now, I think we're just asking for, because Crown Lands did say, our permit was denied right now, but they did say if we can work something out with you guys in time, that they would give us the permit to run the derby. So that's my initial hope, is that we can work something out. But going forward in the future, like I said, it'd be nice to have that trail actually designated, so that you can get insurance on it, we can maintain it, we can get the funding for it. And then we could also work on getting a trail into town. So you could get that economic growth into town, right? People are riding, they wanna come in for a lunch, they can go into town, get gas or whatever, come back, continue on their way sort of thing, right? So yeah, so I don't know if that answers any questions about the liability part of it.
What's it cost us for the liability? Nothing then?
Nothing, no, we just put your name on our insurance and that's it. It's really easy to do, like, we can get that done in a day, like, you just call Oasis. We call Oasis and say, hey, the RM North Cypress-Langford wants to be put on our policy. They say, okay, they add your name, they redo our policy, do all our insurees on it. Good to go.
Is there a limit to how many people can be on it? Like you have a lot of people listed there now, right?
Yeah, no,
Like,
there's no limit,
There's no
no.
limit, and
No.
then, and if it does go up because we're at it, you guys are paying that anyway.
We're paying that anyway, yeah, that's what's on us, yeah.
So like all insurance policies, the information is key. So basically, there's always gonna be a ATV rider going on his own. So who's liable, like, what I'm worried about, like, not everyone follows the rules.
Right,
And somebody crashes in the tree quarter mile outside that designated zone. And the information is always with insurance.
right.
Who's responsible to make sure that we're police that side of the policy?
So what you're saying if someone's out there and they're not a member of the club or anything, they're just out for a ride and they go off the trail and then they crash into something?
Well, even a derby, for example, maybe excess alcohol usage and goes off and crashes or whatever. Basically not following the rules.
Yeah, that would be, my understanding that would fall under the individuals.
Balls.
That'd be in their individual's policy, because they're illegally operating their ATV then, right?
Right. Okay.
So if they're not staying on our trail, they're going somewhere else. If they're on the derby and they're going off trail and especially if they're drinking, now
They got no insurance anyway.
they got no insurance anyway. So it's on them. It's not on, you guys wouldn't be liable for that. That'd be the same thing as if there was no derby and I shouldn't say this, but say if Tyrus and I were out booze cruising and we smoked something, it's on us because we're breaking the law, right?
Mm-hmm. Just one more question for me, deductible, you guys were responsible for an incident like that would happen?
I believe so, yeah. So
Not the municipality wouldn't have to worry about the deductible on.
no, because you're under our policy, right? So if there's a claim, it would go through us.
Right.
And like I said, you can, if you want to clear any of this up, you can call Oasis Insurance or we can call them. I know the insurance policy is like, it's a big document, so, I mean, we can get it to you if you want to read through 500 pages, but.
I think, Teresa, we should have a copy of it. Just
Okay.
to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work on that this afternoon, then I'll see if we can get them to send you something. Or I can get you in contact with Oasis and then you can call them directly if you have questions, either or. I'll get you the copy of the insurance and I'll get you the contact for Oasis.
Especially if there's like we won't be aware, let's say if there is an incident, or whatever, and your rates go up,
Right.
That's, I think we need a copy here. And if there's any changes in that insurance,
Yeah.
it needs to be,
It's a smart thing to do,
Notification.
yeah, have it there, for sure.
Robbie, you got a question?
So we're being part of your club, do you have to have a licensed vehicle? Like your side by side? Does it have to be licensed to be part of your club?
You don't, well, yeah, essentially, yes.
Because you don't have,
We won't.
like, you won't have auto pack, it's not licensed, right?
Yeah.
So you're not, you're not covered, so with the derby that we wanna put on, everybody who is gonna be part of that derby, when they register, they will be signing a waiver. Because there's gonna be riders that aren't part of the club, right? So everybody signs a waiver, and everybody who has signed that waiver is covered by.
So you guys are, like, you're doing a good job of making sure things are covered.
We want to cover our butts, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing.
RCMP, we've talked to the RCMP, they plan on being, on ground, conservation. They've actually been out quite a bit, now that we're in there and maintaining the trails, they're on there. be 2 Sundays ago. They were actually there and they were at the very beginning. So where you didn't know, you'd unload, and when you drove up, they were standing right there with a stop sign, and they were checking everybody out for alcohol and insurance, and so something that we want to see happen,
Yeah.
right? I mean, because we all know that they're all, I mean, we're dealing with it on the trails as it is too. I mean, we put up new signs, we're in the process
Yeah.
of putting up signs. But we go out there, everything was fine yesterday when we put up the signs, we go up there tomorrow to continue on the signs, and the signs are driven over because, I mean, all the trails are accessible
Yep.
for vehicles as well. Not that we want vehicles on there, but the ones who are at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're constantly picking up beer cans and stuff out there. I mean, that's always been that way. So I mean, it's scary how much traffic's out there all night, every night.
2 more
Go
questions.
ahead, Robbie.
Do you have a speed limit on your trails?
We don't have speed limit numbers up, or signs up yet,
That
but
you're
speed
planning
limit
on?
numbers.
Okay. And so there's two-way traffic on this, right?
Yes.
Like, so you actually are making, like, I don't know do you have 2 directional trails, or is it one that people just, you meet each other and you,
So
Go off the
our trails are, we follow, and I did not bring it, a guideline. The trails are 12 feet, supposed to be 12 feet.
Yeah, it's
10 to 12
I think it's
feet.
a 7-foot travel path
that's
with the,
3-7, that's the lane of traffic.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's essentially, there's some trails that going through the trees that you can't, that we want signed, slow,
Yeah.
caution, heads up that you're gonna have to wait for traffic, and, but most of the time, if there's only one trail,
Okay.
there's not 2 trails. But there's enough room that
Most places you can pass.
both side by side, like 2 side by sides
Yeah.
can pass.
especially now the grass is mowed like around the corners and stuff, and the brush is mowed, the sight lines are way better now, way safer, so.
Right on.
So. And we're just with the signs where, like pack in, pack out what you're
Yeah.
packing in, we're putting up signs like that. We've got stop signs and slow signs and caution signs and corner signs. I mean, it's just like, traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I just put in another order here a couple weeks ago, and it's amazing. You think you have a lot of signs
You never have.
until all of a sudden you're going out. I went out here a month ago. 2 of us went out, and it was like, oh, we only put up this many signs and stuff. So I took the same amount. We went out 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden we're out of poles and we're out of signs, and it was like, holy cow. And we had none left, so he put in another order of all that materials.
What do you expect for your derby? Like, what are you hoping for riders? What's like an average number? Did you get 500 units?
Oh, no, I don't think so, we,
In saying that though, it all depends. I mean, it's at the end of the year, so we sort of got different views on everything. I mean, I'm on the ground lots, so I 300 anyways.
Okay. So where are they all gonna park? Like, where's your staging area? Where did like, most people drive them in, right, on a trailer?
Yeah. So if you go, you've been in there.
Well, depends.
Do you know where why can't I think of his name?
nothing fun.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Matthew McLennan. You know where his cattle are right there. So you go through that gate, and going through that gate, that big area
Oh,
right there
okay.
is all staging.
Okay.
So
And we had that area dug by Historical Resources, they did some digs in there and kind of vetted it, and they just asked that we stay out of the trenches.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another thing we gotta work on too is,
Well, that's pylon, so that's an easy one. You can get some pylon.
yeah, we last time we had an event in there, we put stakes with ribbon between,
Oh,
ribboned it all off.
just blocking it all
Yeah.
off, right? I mean, and we like to put something, and it's hard with historical because they're like, well, it can't be permanent, it can't be this. But you go walking in there, or you go driving in there, and there's a 2 or 3 trucks that are backed into the,
For unloading easier.
exactly, and it's like, well, if we had something permanent and maybe a sign, then people wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
We're actually looking at, getting a, whether we put it there, we hope to put it there, a loading ramp,
oh,
a metal one, so
Yeah.
people can just back up and load them.
Trying to
Yeah.
deter that
Yeah.
from happening, so, and that is gonna be our main staging area for the club is gonna be.
always from there.
We're working on right now on putting up a kiosk with maps for the trails, so people can go in there, they're not gonna get lost, they know the area, you know.
Well, if you get funding too, that'll help.
Yeah,
Oh, capital projects would.
Yeah.
In a second, right?
yeah. And then another thing too, just going back to the COs and having the trails maintained, it makes it easier for them to police it because they know the trails are easy to ride for them. They're not bouncing their machines
Yeah.
and stuff, you know, they can get around there easier and they can pick their spots where they wanna set up, like Tyler said, the
Yeah.
stop sign, they can. So I think it's just an all-around benefit, like I said, like the trails look like really, really good in there. I was in there a couple weeks ago and it's amazing.
You've been talking to the fire department and that, and it's.
Yeah,
what's the benefit for
I've
them?
been talking to Grady, so we've got two spots, we've got a loading, or a landing zone
Evacuation.
that for stars, if they have to go out there, as well as evacuation points. They're not cut at this time. I've got the signs at home and we plan on putting those signs up actually this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So,
What's your date, what's your hopeful date,
for
your tour, your derby?
28th is when.
28th of September.
Yeah.
So to do this liability, we're gonna have to pass a resolution here and forward you our information then, if we choose to do that.
You need to ask Rachel what
Okay,
she's
you
planning,
will.
do you know?
Just one more little question. Do you guys got a 1,300 gallon water tank full somewhere in the middle
I'll
of?
have to make a decision.
Just,
If
you know how
we
fires
want, it's
start.
not a
Yes.
plan.
Yeah. You add water reservoir or tank out there.
No, we don't.
We don't have tanks,
Fire extinguishers, we carry fire extinguishers on a regular basis, any function stuff. I know for the derby, as you guys have read and you guys probably know me, I'm a firefighter at Canadian Forces Base Shallow, so I've got access. I do have, I've been in contact with Grady, whether the fire department can be there on ground or not. He's unsure just because of availability, right? I mean, we know how that works. So I do have a couple of contacts that have trucks
Yeah.
with tanks on the back
Yeah.
that I do plan on contacting and having a truck
That would be great.
on the
Yeah.
ground, as well as we're gonna have, I'll have a bunch of water fire extinguishers and we're gonna be running around anyways.
Yeah.
We're putting it on, right, so we'll be running around, I'll be on the trails all the time, checking things out, making sure things are going.
You can get out Princess Auto, those 10-gallon water tanks that with power up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
on a quad and just, you can
Yeah.
get there real quick.
Yeah.
So what time are you running this derby?
It'll probably, registration is 9 to 12,
or
or
the 12, I think.
9 to 12 was registration, so it's a full day thing,
What's the date?
28th of September,
See, that's harvest time too, or end of
just at
harvest.
the end of harvest, yeah.
And we don't want farmers losing their crops over
Yeah.
a little fire goes in a big fire. That's our concern too. Yeah, so maybe changing the dates a little bit would, you know,
Most of that though, back in the trees there's not a lot of crop back in it. Like if you're in crown land, like there's pasture,
It'd take a while for it to get,
like it's mild, yeah, it can happen for sure, but it's,
I'm not
it is,
aware, so.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just miles. There's not very many crops back there.
but some years we've had hot Julys.
Yep,
and-
absolutely.
Oh, yes, yeah.
and,
Yeah.
like, I don't know the area very well. I'm just thinking inside the box here.
yeah, that makes sense, yeah, but, yeah, it would take a pretty significant fire to get into any cropland.
Yeah, and I know all about it, so, background, whether you guys care or not, I actually, so I'm at Shiloh. I'm actually the wildland officer. I've got my own office down at range control, and I manage the ranges. So primarily, I've been in the position coming on 3 years. So anytime you see a smoke out on the ranges, you know that I'm out there. So whether it's a day, whether it's a weekend or an evening or whatever. So yeah, I pay attention to that stuff.
You took over for Chuck
Big
Loader,
time. No, Chuck was
totally different.
he was RTAMS. He was range trained. He looked after like the roads and building ranges for bombing and stuff like that. So
Any more questions for these two guys?
You know,
We'll
that's, thanks, guys.
talk about that liability.
Yeah.
And let you know.
I'll send Teresa. I'll send you some information this afternoon.
Perfect, thank you.
And we've got
I
the
think you guys are doing a good job out there. It's all about education and everything. And so,
Yeah, I think that's I'm really glad that we were able to come talk to you guys today, because I think there's a lot of, not a lot, but maybe some, just a lack of information maybe, and maybe some misconceptions of how we're operating and stuff, so.
Well, I can tell you by you two as board members on that, your qualifications, we're a little more at ease, you know, for sure. We didn't know who, or,
right. So
Yeah, and we wanna keep the flow of information going between our club and like you guys, like, the way, I wrote in here too, the way we wanna, like to see it work is people in there are another set of eyes and ears, right? Like Tyler's talking about people in there at 2 or 3 in the morning, or, people's fences getting wrecked. Well, if we're in there and we see something, we know who to contact, and then they contact you guys, say, and then you guys contact the landowner or whatever. Or, we just wanna get, have a nice flow of communication.
the people that are going in there, I mean, they're gonna go in there whether it's not. I mean, we all know it. The last time we went in, we had 5 signs. We had to replace all those poles. They were all knocked over, and then we've got signs that are on the trees, going through the trees. They literally took their time, which who knows what was going through their head, and they got out of their vehicle, primarily a truck, and they went up, and we've got screws in there that they can't just rip them out of the trees, and they just took the signs, and they're thick signs, and they just bent them.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
just-
amazing amount of effort someone will put in to try.
Like, I mean, a sign isn't it's a thick piece, and it's not something that you could just take one and just go, and it's done. They had to put some effort into bending the signs.
If you guys, if this is a permanent trail year round, maybe a couple hidden cameras.
That's been in
We talked about
discussion,
that,
for that to happen. So, because it would be nice to get them, I mean, they're in there, and so, I mean, we know that one of the concerned parties out there is Jeff Strain. We ran into Jeff 2 weeks ago, his cattle got out. Right away, his wife jumped on us thinking that we knocked down their fence. Well, Jeff knew that it wasn't us who knocked down the fence, so he sort of pushed her off to the side, and him and I grew up in this area, Carberry, like my whole life, so I know Jeff, so we had the conversation and stuff, and he said that he's having issues with the same people that are going in, and they're wrecking some of his stuff too, and knocking down fences, leaving gates open when you're not supposed to, and that's our big goal too, is now that we're out there more. I know initially was, oh, you guys are just bringing in more people and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, well, we're in there, it's because we're out there on a regular basis, a little bit more policing, we can try to tame that down a little bit of damage and.
So could we do if we pass something for them, could we do like a 1-year trial?
We'll put you on probation. Maybe.
Well, I mean,
Well, we're gonna have to discuss
Yeah.
more down the road
Yeah.
to work with you, so like, we're willing to work with you on everything. right now, I think we wanna try and clarify for the Derby
Right,
and get it straightened up. If we're on for a year, that's good, and then we can, let's work towards it over the next year as to,
So I know too, as well as because we ride that, because people riding that stretch in between 351 and Camp Hughes, like I said, we know the hoodlums or whatever, it's nice to get, there's the people all the time that they get on the road, and what do they wanna do? They get on the road and just give it right down the road, to where we want to get them off the road, and there'll be signs, you know, just like a highway, you know, this is one way, this is the other way, and, I mean, there's a group of them that come out of Antler Hill Estates. I mean, we've seen them on the rise too, and they don't wear helmets, and right when they come out onto the gravel road, you know, I'm sure you guys have probably heard from the grader operator, that it's, that road right there is just donuts, all the way to the tracks, and it's like, man.
yeah.
well, we'll work on getting this straightened around for you for a starter. And, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job
Can't
out there.
stop all the see.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, we just
We
do what we
understand.
can, yeah. And like,
Do what you can, yeah.
and it is nice to see now that we've done work in there at RCP and COs are coming in there, so.
Well, there's probably some poaching going on back there too.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
So
yeah.
that, I mean, that gives them a great opportunity to.
Yeah, well, our signs get damaged of that too, there's
Yeah.
holes in sign, our signs.
Good target practice, yeah, nice shiny new sign, it's like, oh yeah, I'll shoot that thing.
If you guys can get along with the landowners and the cattle guys out there, that's the main thing.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good relationship with Matthew McLaren, I'd say, and hopefully Jeff Strain's coming on board too, so.
Any other comments around the table?
Oh, that's
Good progress.
Yeah, appreciate the time, you guys, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, if you ever
Thank
did a good
guys.
job on the hot seat.
Yeah, thank you. If you ever have any questions or anything, reach out to one of us and we'll gladly answer, so.
All right.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Awesome, thanks.
Catch you later.
Yeah, you bet.
Hopefully it's too tough to combine that day, maybe I'll come over.
Yeah. I would be happy to take you guys around there too sometime if you guys have time, so.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, let's go finish off our checks here. Resolution 250, 2024, be it resolved that the accounts check number 3897 to check number 31019 totaling $1,183,834.89, and direct deposits withdrawal totaling $1,271,752.69 be approved for payment. Can I have a mover, please? Robbie, second Dallas. Any questions on them checks?
Campbell, Norman Campbell. That would be just down 30907.
That would be an overpayment of his taxes. Anyone who came in early and paid their taxes.
There are lots
There's
of
a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. Any other questions regarding all those checks?
I apologize, I was supposed to be doing these checks here twice now and I haven't got it, so I haven't checked them. So one might change it.
Both, all the rec boards got paid then? Teresa?
Yes, all our grants are paid out,
Yeah.
all our transfers are complete for budget. Yes.
Other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Rachel, you're up, planning matters. What do you got?
So I'm just here because of the ATV discussion.
Okay, good.
So if council would like to proceed in that fashion, I will need something from council directing me that you are granting them temporary usage or approving the derby track. so that I can respond in kind to the province, because I had also rejected the application. So basically, I would recommend, if council is gonna proceed with this, that your resolution state that I would start with the Derby, and I would grant them temporary usage of the municipal right-of-way for the Derby, listed on September 28th, including, the preparation necessary. So obviously, they haven't been maintaining the right-of-way because they haven't been using it. So I would grant them grace to get in there and do some maintenance on it prior to the Derby. I would also include in your resolution that you are to be listed as a third party on their municipal or on their liability coverage. I would also include in that resolution that any and all additional funds that need to be allocated to this project are at the whole cost to the ATV Association. And then from there, we can start working towards a more permanent usage of the right-of-way if that's something the municipality would like. But again, knowing that their Derby is the 28th, I would start there if that's something the municipality is willing to entertain. So it might, I don't know if long term, if you'd like to approve that, just be aware that that will set precedence for the usage of your right-of-ways. So you might see an increase on requests to use the municipal right-of-way, but you might not. In the grand scheme of things, farmers tend to farm them anyways if they're undeveloped.
How about with the snowmobile club, when they improve the trails on the right-of-ways, are they doing anything with liability insurance, including us and stuff?
Do you have snowmen in the municipality using right-of-ways?
Yeah.
So again, it would be a simple request to send out to them at the same time that you be listed out on their third-party liability
We
insurance.
should treat them all the same.
100%.
Snowmobile
Yeah.
club or
Once
quad.
you license your skidoo and it's got, you're paying for insurance anyway.
Yeah.
So that should be easy too then. What do the landowners out there think about it? Like, they're the ones that pay taxes.
Well, like Crown land, we really don't have a say.
Well,
No.
Crown,
You know,
yeah, I guess.
Like, I mean, if.
So it's all on Crown land, there's no road allowance that goes in between two private or up to butts up against one?
If I'm not mistaken, the only road allowance that is being requested that is municipal is by Szymanski. Right?
Szymanski, yeah.
Szymanski?
Szymanski, there's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was that half mile or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
but-
just that small stretch, but that is, like, if you look at the aerial view of it, the trail is already through your road allowance.
Yeah.
So, it,
I always thought that's what we were talking about today.
yeah,
That's what
I didn't realize
They
there
wanted
was,
350.
yeah.
So you talked to Szymanski, Rob?
Sorry?
Have you talked to Szymanski? Maybe we should just.
I would be, a
It's
lot of
not
his
his
land out there is
property
Crown
anyway.
land,
Mhm.
so anything that's going through there, he really can't say.
You can't
Well,
sway
and-
anyway.
So, but
Yeah,
So
it
you have no
comes,
say if you're the leasing on the ground.
you have no say. The Crown land can, as long as they're not doing any damage to your property and your cattle,
Yeah.
you have no say. And you can make a request, to Crown lands if you are noticing that your cattle is out or that there's issues, but Crown land ultimately has the final say in it.
and
And they gave permission the first time without even telling the farmers what was going on. When this
Yeah.
was first developed.
Yeah.
They didn't even call
No.
the leases.
they got a, well, I don't know if it's a bad rap is the right word, but they got a bad rap when they started it. Cause there was trails that were there, always, and then as they started this club and got going, it just got bigger and bigger. There's people, they used to bring 6-8 trucks with 2 or 3 side-by-sides on them, they park on 87 at 351, and they go across into Rod's Lane. There'd be trucks lined right up to that tree there.
I've seen them.
Yeah, I think Rod had the biggest issue, especially with his cattle,
Well,
and whatnot.
Yes, but there's other risks with the road allowance.
No, just that the
Well, yeah,
original
yeah.
state
How
when
about
we.
Camp Hughes, they're not like tearing up the grounds down there, are they?
I go into Camp Hughes, we take the dogs out for runs that way, and we go in there all the time and run around, and you never see really anything tore up out there. Like
It's fenced off pretty good to keep people out there.
yeah, yeah,
And they have touched base with like historical
Yeah.
branch, right there.
I was
Yeah.
Yeah, HRB
Quite
is quite
quiet.
very
Yeah.
much involved.
quite
Yeah.
surprised to hear that, that's good.
Yeah, which is unfortunately the main reason why, like, they were saying they can't put in permanent fixtures to
Yeah.
block anything off, because HRB won't let them do ground disturbance.
Right.
So they can step in posts, but they can't permanently fix anything to the ground. But again, if the municipality wants to proceed in that fashion, all that I ask for the planning district is a resolution. And we would proceed in kind and provide that comment to the province so that they at least can move forward with the derby, and then basically from there, you guys can have another discussion.
That's why I kinda asked about just a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give them a chance and,
Sure, like,
I mean, well,
it's not the ATV club that's
No.
causing the problem, it's the
No.
outsiders coming and doing what they shouldn't be doing, or
Yeah.
causing the problem.
I just think one from council should be there on September 28th if we can, just to
I
witness.
can't, but, I mean, that's,
That's a long way away, we'll see when that time gets here.
Well, I feel a little better with a bit of Ty saying,
Oh,
if there
absolutely.
was somebody different on the club, go after him, though,
well,
it'd be a
what
different. scene.
instantly used my mind was when I read about the Oasis insurance.
Yeah.
Because like with the highways, we had to always do that, like you had to lay other parties as on their insurance before you started any projects. So this
Here's
is,
a resolution what we sort of put together here. Be it resolved that council approve the ATV club to add NCL to their third-party insurance policy and allow them to temporarily use of municipal right-of-way for September 28, 2024 Derby with preparation to maintain municipal right-of-way in advance of the Derby. Any and all costs be the responsibility of the ATV club.
The only suggestion I would have is, their ATV application has a derby, or has a provincial Crown Lands number, or permit number. I would include that so that you're not giving them blanket usage of all your right of ways, you're just allocating the right of ways that are used in that permit application.
do you specify that half a mile that they wanna use from 351 down?
If you list out their permit number,
Then you don't have to.
no, because
Okay.
the permit is the trail.
It's state or
Yeah.
trail, yeah.
Yeah, they've done the whole mapping on the
Okay.
trail, so. I didn't realize I'm pretty sure it's just the one small chunk of municipal right of way. I looked at that trail map pretty closely, but again, I would just list out that number, and I apologize, I'm not hooked into the internet, so I can't.
351, that's all highways.
You betcha,
Ours is just from 351 going south.
you betcha. Yeah, but that would be my only suggestion, is include that, and then
And
it's
then after
cut
that,
and
it's
dry.
Crown Lands anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, it's a good suggestion, grooming the ditches into Carberry from there, but highways won't allow them to groom the ditches.
But they're doing it anyway.
Well, no, but to
Not
Carberry.
these guys are
Yeah,
doing,
no,
there's
yeah.
a trail along the
Well,
ditch,
yeah, like,
That's their.
all the way.
yeah,
there.
but I mean,
Yeah.
if they wanted to groom them, they said, right?
Yeah.
The Carberry, they
No,
won't be able
they
to,
wouldn't let them
but that's
They
nothing
go
to
for
us.
the
No.
ride, load their machines, come to
Yeah.
know. Okay then, well, we'll do that resolution here in a bit and
You betcha.
continue from there, if that's okay?
Was there anything else for planning?
Oh, Spruce Woods, yeah.
So I did receive a call from Abby Bingham yesterday. I was unfortunately in meetings all day in Glenboro, so I will give her a shout this morning here and just figure out what's going on. She alluded that it was Spruce Woods that she wanted to talk about, and she had some questions, but nothing concrete in the voicemail, so. I
Getting
will-
down to about a year, that's all right.
Yep. I will get moving on that. I've had a different colony in Glenboro, South Cypress, has applied and had their permit for their lagoon approved, and they're already constructing it, so I'm not sure how this is taking so long, but we'll just deal with it as it comes.
Okay.
But
That,
I do have to deal with that today.
is there anything weird about that subdivision in Equa that you're concerned about at all? We got it in an email yesterday.
Just yesterday.
Again, I was in meetings all day in Glenboro, which subdivision?
In Equa,
Excuse me, Rachel, the
You betcha.
girl you were talking to, or gonna be talking to,
Yes.
you give me her name again.
Abby Bingham,
Abby.
and she is an enforcement officer with Conservation and Climate.
you'll have to turn around and so you're not on the internet.
I haven't seen this yet.
It was just sent yesterday, and they want approval by the 25th.
Um,
Well, that's the Depot one, yeah.
Whereabouts is
In behind
There's-
TIC,
There's a map.
this? Oh, yeah.
or TIC.
I'll try to find them out for
I thought,
you. Oops.
you can request an extension if you're not comfortable answering by that date. That's not a problem.
I think it should go, well, it will go through the planning board and, what are you talking about? 17th or something?
The
Drawing
12th is the
or-
next meeting.
There
Yeah.
is a drawing, it's,
It would be part of the application.
That's just north of the trailer court. right?
Oh, go up a second, just, am
Quite a
I,
bit north
just
of
to
it.
see if I'm
It's in
included.
behind TAC, or TIC.
it's kind of a key section.
Yeah.
Okay, just down a little
So
Just
there's
bit.
like
old
this-
Swan's big storage building there south of TIC
Teresa, she
there.
just wondered, wants to see the
And then
names.
they angle back along the creek bed there.
And go down a little bit more, cause I don't think, I wasn't included for
Uh-oh.
comment. The planning district
It's on
wasn't,
there too.
Through,
But then they were changing
just the municipality.
along Road 84 north there
Okay.
to highway, or to commercial or industrial. or
Can you send me a
Yeah, I
copy of
saw
this, cause
that.
I won't have this.
it's
I
in
don't
the
have a
town of
problem with
Newport,
that,
that's
it's just
why,
that
it's not in our
If we
municipality.
did that.
No, I know,
put 'em
but
on the road.
I won't have a copy of this at all,
That'd be
cause I wasn't
my-
part of the
So they
circulation.
link up to our road or
Mind you, that'd still be within the town of Newport.
Does,
north of John David?
Yeah. Well, no, north of,
But if they ever wanna come out.
no,
with the
if you go to the
service-
railway tracks.
So I didn't read it that
Go to the
closely,
corners
it's
to the
not,
north.
so it's
Yeah,
not
go
part of
west.
that.
Yeah.
no,
That's in
it's
No,
not
it's
within
in-
the,
it's in
you're
the-
in the
That's
adjacent
road.
municipality.
Yeah, that's
Have
the only
sections.
reason we're
Yeah.
doing contact.
Oh.
Yeah,
So that'd be the
it's in the
whole-
town
Eventually,
limits.
they not-
Yeah.
Yes.
I read a lot of it, but I didn't read it.
Dealerships and up.
Here it is here.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
just
here
on
we
the
are,
border.
One more. There you go.
There's that triangular piece there.
Yeah.
So the subdivision is houses then? Or real?
It calls for,
Commercial.
commercial on the,
Commercial.
in the email.
Yeah, so you're bordering right on the left-hand side
Yeah,
there.
we're bordered here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
I really don't see a problem with
It's-
what they're doing.
No, it's all right.
I think they're okay.
It's on the west side of town.
It's not our problem.
No.
Yeah, as long as it isn't, is it going commercial? They're wanting to subdivide and keep it commercial?
I think
The
that's what I
intent
read,
is?
I believe.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about this part here. The second part was right up at the very top end there.
See the notes?
Okay, right up at the very
Jeez,
top
there's,
of
that's
the
one in red there, okay.
government road allowance there. Right
Yeah.
in that area, that, all of that there, they wanna put into commercial. That green
So,
line there, eh,
there-
that's a separate one, there's two things here.
But
There's
no.
that there to go to commercial, or change the designation there. And then this other red outline one is the one that this is talking about.
Yeah, so they're cutting this bottom, they're cutting 2 lots into the bottom here, so. Yeah, the only concern would be the adjacent property if it was going industrial, if you guys had something next to it that would be of concern. But
We got nothing.
yeah, you will, it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, Teresa, if you could forward that to me and then, I'll
Sure.
review it and then if I have any comments, I can forward them to you, but I don't see it being an issue.
I don't see it being an issue.
Yeah, I don't always see these applications because the planning district only provides comment on our own members, so.
I
Sorry.
forget what the little red square is up to the right though.
So typically when they do those red hatches, that means that's part of what's being cut. But we don't normally allow cuts, or one application to cover 3 areas, because we've also got red down at the bottom here too. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume it's just a clerical error from Brendan Community
Yeah.
Planning.
Right.
I've noticed that there's a couple little
Keep
things.
scrolling down there,
So-
Teresa. There's what you're looking
Yeah,
for
it's just
here.
the proposed lot 1 and
Yeah.
2. So. And there won't be any residual land, but I'm a little concerned how they are handling.
We're gonna consolidate it with the north piece.
Oh, okay, I was just thinking the same thing, like how it's gonna be a landlocked parcel, but it's
No,
not,
It's gonna be
so.
one parcel.
Yeah.
That's probably better then.
Well, it's a fair bit of ag land that was being used, or 11 acres, of, that they're cutting off, so. It just tidies up that
It
irregular
just
parcel
tidies
quite,
it up for
yeah.
them, I think, yeah.
No, that'll work quite nicely, and they've already got an approach there, so it's not like they're having to put anything else in. Cause it's right off Highway 5, they're not.
How do they get a road past that building back to the west?
Little building.
There isn't one.
Isn't that a building there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no road.
But if they wanna make it,
No, just the one up along the highway. proposed lot one.
Yeah, lot 2 is getting dissolved into the eggland.
They're putting that all into
Oh.
one, Robbie.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ag Land Reserve.
Oh,
Basically, those two buildings on the south side are old, decrepit anyway, they'll just tear them down and put a road right through.
Where's that?
Yeah, they won't need it though. That back lot disappears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically gonna, right where that 90-degree corner is, that's where the property line is gonna end.
Yeah.
So they'll have one lot to the north and then one lot at the bottom here. Cause there are already 2 different
you only
lots.
read half of it. That's what you get, you only read half of it.
It's not going to affect us anyway, so.
No.
I'm
No.
okay with what we're doing there.
Yeah, it's light industrial, but it's always been industrial.
Okay,
Only other thing under planning is that the province has approved our part 3. So we will start the 13th of September after our board finalizes our fees bylaw.
Excellent.
So that will be next week.
our meeting's next Thursday.
You betcha.
I might not be there.
Combine.
It is fall.
So we need to pass that fees bylaw, so.
And planning can't have, because someone said it for you.
Yeah.
You betcha, we can send it, you guys can send an
If
alternate.
somebody else can.
Yeah. We need quorum to be able to pass the bylaw, so if you
Okay,
guys are
this
gonna
one.
be combining,
Wait, so you guys-
send somebody.
It could be a few of us that night, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I've already chatted with
Or
him.
afternoon, that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, well, and it's 2 o'clock here in town.
Can we move it to the morning?
Yeah, mornings are better
If
for
you move
farmers.
it till 9 o'clock, that's, then we can do it, but.
If you wanted to send that request, Ray, I can send that up to the board. See
I'm
what they
gonna
say.
send that request, you can ask Ed if he could change it till 9 o'clock in the morning, can you?
I can.
Can you make it, Rob?
Hey.
Can you make it?
Well, if it's early.
A better chance to make it
Well, yeah.
in the middle of the afternoon when it's supposed to be nice.
And if you can't,
We'll try and do
one
it.
of us.
Yeah. One more day and we're done our cereals, so.
Yeah, so.
So I could go on that.
Try it at 9 o'clock, see if we can make it.
I'll send out the request,
Yeah.
and see what they
If it's
do.
not signing.
Yeah. Well, and let's be real, other than a couple of the Carberry, like we got the Carberry guys, and then I don't know if the new member from Glenboro is,
Where he's farming or what he.
I think he is, but
think.
I don't know, he showed up for the meetings yesterday and he looked he looked like he came out of a combine. We'll leave it at that.
Good.
But I'll see what we can do, and if we can't, then we'll make
We'll make something work.
We just definitely need to pass that fees by law, we can't
Yeah.
proceed, because we can't charge anyone for parking
You-
permits.
Even though I'm done my cereals, I've already had 3 requests to drive a combine.
Yeah, well, it's a skill that if you've got, everyone wants to carry on with it, so.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
perfect, thank you guys.
Thank you, thanks Rachel.
Thanks a lot. Get out.
New bylaws.
Have a great day.
Rachel.
We'll do that towards the end here,
Yeah, we'll
okay?
do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
General business, resolution 251, 2024, be it resolved that council approve hiring Crystal Berry as administrative assistant per contract with a start date of September 9th, 2024. Can I have a mover, please?
Grant.
Grant, seconder, adjourned. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Ooh. Resolution 252, 2024, whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 23rd to 29th, 2024. Whereas 229 railway crossings and trespassing incidents occur in Canada in 2023, resulting in 66 avoidable fatalities and 39 avoidable serious injuries. Whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railway right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws. will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness. Whereas CN and Operation Lifesaver have requested City Council adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including our community. Could I have a mover, please? Robbie, seconder. Dallas, all in favor? Opposed?
If we go on strike that week, there won't be any of us.
Come on. Resolution 253, 2024, be it resolved the council approves Teresa Parker to attend the Manitoba Municipal Administrators Conference from September 8th to 11th, 2024 at Fairmont, Winnipeg, including registration costs of $499, hotel, meals, and mileage. We have a mover, please. Dallas, seconder. Grant. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Yes, you can go. Resolution 254, 2024, be it resolved the council approved Teresa Parker to attend the MAMAC conference from October 16th to 18th, 2024 in Canada in Polo Park, Winnipeg, including registration, cost of $500, hotels, meals, and mileage. Can I have a mover, please? Robbie, seconder.
Grant.
What's a MAMAC?
That's what I was.
Manitoba Association of Municipal
Emergency coordinator.
Emergency Coordinator, there you go.
And they're all $500.
Yeah, it went up this year. It's actually a really, really good conference. If I could make one emergency conference a year, this would be the one that is really beneficial.
Any other questions?
Is Rachel going as well?
Yes, she is.
All in favor?
I have no idea.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Nothing added to the agenda. Communications, CN Rail, we did that. Island Berry, thank you. Scholarship. Ag Society, Nipah leaking roof request. The Ag Society in Nipah has a roof leaking on their shed and they're requesting some financial assistance. Are we interested? What do we do down here? Where does it come from? Does it come out of general revenue? Does it come out of rec down here?
How much are they asking for?
She didn't specifically, she was going to send me a letter asking and giving more specifics, but she hadn't. So I just.
I'm pretty positive the Ag Society here is just funds themselves, and even if the big barn or whatever, it was just fundraising for 4-H.
We could give them so much money a year.
Oh, right, it's the grant.
There's a grant.
The grant,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Grant
it's what,
for your calcium on the road.
8,000.
How much did we grant them? I'm not listening to you.
What is?
8,000? 10,000? I forget. You
I
showed
don't
me
think it's
there,
that
but
much.
it's
Oh, I
not
think
much.
it's 3, isn't it?
3 or 5.
I can go look real quick.
So is it,
Go look.
Wouldn't hurt to know.
It's up on the
No.
board.
okay, yeah, if you don't mind.
No, I'll look right now.
So, like, is this something that we, like, is this part of a municipal building? Or is this
It's just something we support in Nipah.
when we give them,
It's not a joint building or
or
anything.
anything like that?
This is just the ag societies in Nipah. That's the difference between here and Nipah. Nipah, every enter or whatever has their own, like the curling rink is owned by the curling rink.
Yeah.
The skating rink's owned by that, the ag's owned by them, and they have their own boards and everything, whereas here it's all joint.
Well, and this ag board is standalone as well, we just give a grant
Give them
and
grant.
support, right? It's
So-
a donation grant, basically.
Oh, it's a fairground, so.
3,000.
It's a pretty sizable grant.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I've
we-
never asked that question, who actually owns the land.
I would assume it's a town in Nepal, would it not be?
And Depot.
It would,
Oh, there,
I would
yeah.
assure it would be, but I guess you look at it on the other side and it's for farming and everything else, and we are a municipality.
Yeah.
On the other side of it,
Do we do support Carver, correct?
they,
Yeah.
yeah, we do support Carberry, but,
$3,000.
yeah, Carberry's never asked.
Three.
Carberry, like, these guys have never asked when they're doing fundraising. need
But
more
we
for
give
money.
them $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
Every year.
I think that's
Yeah.
basically enough to like cover their taxes, I think, right?
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's basically to forgive their taxes.
So my question is, are we gonna set a precedent here in some capacity if we do decide
We've given them money lots of times.
to the Ag Society?
Just different.
Just on
just
request.
requests.
On request.
Yeah.
Like here, we're giving 3,000 to Carberry every year,
Right, but it's,
and we're giving Depot nothing unless they ask.
Yeah. And, what building are they talking about? With,
Is it the main barn?
It's the big barn as far as I'm
Is that-
concerned.
is that in town? Like, is it in a municipality land or is it
No,
in
it's in
town?
Depot.
It's
town.
right
pay
in town,
taxes.
right up at the ball diamonds is the
They
very
own
right?
the land. They pay taxes.
Town.
I just don't wanna donate too much and pay for the whole thing, you know,
Oh,
we care.
no.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could get back to
Yeah,
an
no.
A lot of their
actual.
members are.
Did we ask them for more information? or-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she
what I'm
was, she
saying, you know,
was
like
supposed
it's-
to
Yeah.
send some, but she hasn't, so sure.
We'll ask for a price first.
Well,
And then we'll proceed.
Yeah, but I mean, I just like to know how big it is and what, you know, what's the ask. And I, again, I just,
Is it, it's a whole new roof, well.
No, well,
no, it shouldn't be if it's
there's
just
more
legal.
partners in, more Cypress-Langford.
I know.
I'm in favor to some contribution, yeah, once we have a number, we can engage that.
Grant carry-on trucking was just information. TCS Consulting. I'm not sure.
That, equipment cost, was that passed on to Matt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Touchwood Park, thank you. Province Manitoba Planning, Part 3 approval for Rachel. Town of Nepa, public hearing, 22/14/15, that is what we just had up on the
Yeah.
thing up there, for information. Province Manitoba proposal to subdivide. That was another piece for Nepa, was it?
Yeah, that was the same one, actually.
Quipwa Gladstone Co-op Fuel Good Day.
I'm not sure if I had that sent out, but it was sent at the end of day 2, so it's September 17th, we're having a real good day.
So the name the card lock works.
Let's do this resolution before we do around the table. 255, Resolution number 255, be it resolved that council approve the ATV club to add North Cypress-Langford to their third-party insurance policy permit number. What are we getting? And allow them to temporarily use of municipal right-of-way for September 28, 2024 Derby with preparation to maintain municipal right-of-way in advance of the Derby. Any and all costs be the responsibility of the ATV club. We have a mover, please?
Yeah.
Seconder, Robbie? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Around the table, Grant.
Well, basically, I have only just, we have quite a few potatoes down by John Adrian Hansen and Fairview Hurricane Colonies, and they requested a road fill-in. Basically, that's what I wanted to talk to Matt about Monday morning. Teresa, I just need to know if we can do the job or not. This potato harvest is right around the corner. But it's a low line and They just want dirt pushed in so they can, and, you know, so they can get a road up a little higher. Because if it does rain, they are screwed. They can't get to us all one side. They'd have to go
Is
around.
that west of 464?
Yes. It's on right by 95 and 62, 61. It's actually in Rob Ford.
Okay.
It's a matter of.
Never heard anything about it.
But there's a big hole in there and the water will drain in there 2-3 feet. And it's just a matter of the hills right here. Here's the gully, just push that hill in, make it level around so they can have access to get potato trucks to their colony, north and south.
That's on that Hydro Line
No, it's a mile south.
Road, miles south of
Yeah.
that.
So they approached me this summer and went with Tom and he showed me what they wanted. They were gonna push the trees back on the way home. I'm gonna make sure they did the 40 feet. And it's just, maybe a 6-hour cat job.
Now we'll get Matt to take a look at it and see what we're gonna
But
do.
if they just push up dirt, it's not gonna last.
No.
There's no way it'll last.
Well,
2 trucks
that's,
through it, it'll be done. Whether it's raining or not.
they do have bush on both sides to prevent wind. But yeah, they would request a little bit of gravel on top and clay.
You won't get clay probably, but,
It's
well, they-
cost- yeah, how much?
yeah, what's it gonna cost? You know,
But they do
it's-
have the gravel pit up at north by my place, north of your dad's
all right.
section. They can bring in that material too.
Well, let Matt take a look at it, he's the one
Yeah.
that should be doing that, okay?
I just promised that I would bring, we'd do something for them. And far as the road to east-west from John's, that's his baby, he's the one that kept it, he's got a grader now,
Anything else, Grant?
Nope.
Robbie?
Foggy, highway good.
Jared?
No, I haven't done anything.
Dallas?
Well, I think I'll have them mad about on Monday, but this one request for extensions on one culvert, because the ditch is pretty steep. So put extensions over the rock, it's on 78, but I can't wait till Monday. And, I do have, update from Health Action Committee, but it's not public release yet, so I have to do that in camera, but there is good news hopefully announced within the week that can be public. And then, but there still is, really not amazing coverage for ER. Like last month was almost full coverage. In September, there's like 4 days of ER coverage. So that's, there's been internally, the one local employee left who took it upon herself to really push Prairie Mountain Health to make sure there's local coverage. So we are pushing Prairie Mountain Health to try to, even though there might be doctors coming soon, to really still not change their tactics and keep them the ER coverage, besides anything that might be happening, so, yeah, so hopefully we'll work on getting better ER coverage soon.
Good. I got nothing really other than, I wanna talk to Jared and Matt, or sometime there at the Harding corner there. With these trucks moving houses up and down that, whether we could widen that or whatever a little bit, they're having a hard time, but just a question. Nothing,
Moving feet.
well, yeah. Cause now highways, or hydros went out and raised the lines all up and designated a bit of a road for them, but they haven't even talked to us about it.
No,
So what road's that, right?
78 north and 90 west.
Okay.
Cornwallis, if you have to pay to use our road for gravel, I'm
Yeah.
sure we could have this is the moving road that needs certain.
Anyway, it's just something.
Yeah.
Other than that, I got nothing else, no. I think the roads are doing pretty decent for what we've had
Yeah.
to put up with here. It's been a challenging year all the way around. And
About 10 for me and my old.
Teresa, you got anything, comments?
I have a few things. Okay, first I'll start with RMFL. Noticed they hadn't been paying Brookdale over on Rector's District their
I wondered about
levy for the past 4 years. So she asked if I would invoice, and I said, I can't invoice because I don't know your numbers. And then she realized they had made an error and they haven't been paying it, so. They will be paying them soon, so they'll get probably, I would say, anywhere from $68,000 from that.
How much?
6 to 8,000 for the.
I thought you said 68.
No, 628, sorry, 6 to 8,000.
Was it that much?
It's, you know what, some year, the last I looked, it was $1,500 in the 1 year.
Yeah, I was gonna say 16 years.
So with 4 years,
Yeah.
you know.
So it could
depending
be about,
on-
yeah, 32, 64 maybe.
So
Yeah,
the largest taxpayer into that should get an interest payment from RML.
so they found the error and they're fixing it, which is great.
Yep.
Right now, we have that road project with the boundary road will be, I'm just trying to get hold of the last person on the list.
Which part of the road?
Right at, on Dairy Road
Yeah.
at 90, Corner Dad's.
Mm-hmm.
It's just down to the south here, it's 3-4
North
big
of the
pipes.
tracks?
North of the tracks,
Yeah.
mile and a half.
I know what you mean exactly.
There's 3 culverts, one
Okay,
is
yeah.
replaced, but 2 haven't been.
Well, there's only one running water and the other 2
Yeah.
are drilling it. And I just cut that field there a few days ago and there's a lot of water went through there this year.
And so just waiting for contact on the one person and then they'll go ahead with doing that and we'll split that bill. Once Matt's back, we'll do tenders up for the topsoil and actually for the truck, he wanted, something more standard that he can just take to everyone now that we have tax money coming in and tax money is coming in. Great, everyone's coming in happy because the bills were lower due to education property advancement rate on the taxes, so that's been nice. Yeah, it did actually.
That's perfect.
I sent information to lawyers about Nature Conservancy and the gravel contracts. Still have not heard back yet, just waiting on responses from them. Over on discussion, do we want to continue with Burgess Law, let him finish it out because he's the most knowledgeable in the process, or hire someone else?
What do you do there, eh? Like, it's,
Fire.
Fire.
you haven't been doing the job or finishing it.
Not only that, on the sprayer too, he didn't, like, I personally, we need to search for new lawyers. Do we have documentation too on instructions to the lawyer? And, cause I've had real estate agent and plus was at fault maybe, or the lawyer. Because if we have that documentation, then we have more what we can do, but as far as the lawyer can, that's fine.
We don't have documentation as to what he was told to do. We have documentation as to what was done. And it did state those so many feet that the person was buying, but it was never subdivided either, so.
When was the last time there's been communication from him?
From him?
Yeah.
He said to me, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go forwards or do you not?
He
It was
just
not
said that to you?
completed, yeah, and he said that quite a while ago, he said, it has not been completed, it wasn't done, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go forwards with doing this? Or do you want me, what do you want?
We haven't given them guidance. either.
No, we haven't given him guidance because
Maybe he should
it's a
just
matter,
finish it then.
yeah.
Then discuss the lawyer.
Yeah, if he can finish it and get that wrapped up.
Cause it's gonna
then we
cost
go
us
circle
more to get a
around.
new lawyer to tackle him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's our direction to him to say, go ahead and do it then?
I actually don't even know, I just saw his name and
I think we
I
should
hear
get it
what-
done, if that's the
Yeah.
I,
quickest way, if you.
I don't use them anymore,
yes,
but for this project, I feel like
Yeah.
he started it This is my,
Yeah, we didn't give him the guidance to go forward. It's our fault, not his fault.
Okay.
And it wasn't our council either.
It was before?
Before, this is way,
long before years.
this is even before Trish.
Yeah, this is Sandra, when Sandra was in still.
Oh,
It's been going
This
It
on
was
is
long.
just brought up again this last little bit though, when.
Yeah, it's only
when
brought up
we were
within
in-
the last
The area we
week.
just about, when we tried to do like an next phase of it, that it wasn't done right the first time.
oh, okay.
This little
So
block.
just wanna tell Burgess to go forward and finish it up then?
Yeah, I would agree with
I guess.
Everybody okay with that?
that, but it's gotta be finished and completed right. That's, we're
Can we
setting
give a
precedents
timeline
so
to
that it
try
isn't.
to?
That's kind of hard.
So
When there's many factors.
can they be discussed here now, like what, or should we wait till in camera? Like, I don't know what's going on, I'd like to,
We'll talk about that in camera.
okay, yeah, like,
Yeah,
just, I'd sure like
Yeah.
background.
what's going on.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. And I had one on here, what Teresa's got here about water line east of Nequa. We had a meeting, must have been 4 or 5 years ago, had a bunch of people from east of Nequa interested in water. And it's never been any farther pursued. Water Services Board, I took all the names over to them and they've got all the information, but at the time it was just sort of put on a burner. And now people are talking, wondering what the heck's going on, so.
At the
Do we
time-
proceed forward with something like this? Our ratepayers are looking, it isn't costing the municipality anything. It's all on the ratepayers, they pay their own, it's all paid for by them and grants.
Was the holdup version like the worrying about capacity? Or
Yeah,
just
it
waiting for
was-
enough people to make it financially justifiable for them?
Well, there was all kinds of people that made it justifiable.
Basically, I've had some response out my way now, no, they didn't do it at the time. But basically, there was only a certain allotment left, right, with the present,
Or back then, and yearly was the distance and what it was gonna cost to
Yeah.
get it
and
there.
the water treatment plant passed the Eco law to
Right.
service, this extra water consumption.
I guess our first step would be to make an application to the town of Nequa for another 7,550 hookups.
Yeah.
If they would approve that, be okay with it.
I would see no reason why we wouldn't pursue it.
Well, yeah, like it's,
Probably
but it's just been put off on the back burner for the last 3 or 4 years, and
Yeah.
so I think moving forward, we need to first off write a letter to the town of Nequa requesting to see whether we can get some more water.
Possible, yeah.
Cause that third water treatment plant, everything runs through there, right?
Yeah.
So, that big line now that's going to Highlight from there.
Yep.
So, that plant must be pretty big then, isn't it?
124.
I don't know, I can't tell you the numbers or anything, yes, it's a lot more than what they had, so it's, but the question needs to be answered by them, we need to ask the
Yeah.
question, have you got enough for another 75 rural hookups? And then we can talk about where we're going from there.
Let's say 100, 125, and we'll likely get 75, you know,
Yeah,
100 to 125.
so you can do something like that then?
Yeah.
Everybody all right with something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You gotta have good, clean, reliable water.
Okay, anybody, you got any more there, Teresa, then? That's about it. Alrighty, thank you very much, everybody. In camera, resolution number 256. 2024, be it resolved that council as a committee of the whole move into in camera to discuss personnel matters. Have a mover, please.
Grant?
Grant, seconder. Sharon, all in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you very much.